Constitution. Its outcomes cannot supersede the electoral mandates that the parties that contested for elections and were finally elected into our parliament.
Parliament has revived discussions into a complaint against Auditor General Tsakani Maluleke made by a former employee. The Standing Committee on the Auditor General met today to discuss the complaint and affidavit of Mlungisi Mabaso, who accused Maluleke of wrongdoing about 3 years ago. But Mabaso was fired in 2022 after he was found to have committed gross misconduct for threatening Maluleke and making several accusations against her, saying he can cause her harm. An independent report later cleared Maluleke of any wrongdoing. Baba Lundenze reports.
The Standing Committee on the AG met today to receive legal advice on the complaint by Mlungisi Mabaso, who accused the AG of irregularities related to payments Tsakani Maluleke authorized while still the Deputy AG. Mabaso also attempted to extort an unauthorized gratification from Maluleke in exchange for not disclosing the allegations. Parliament legal advisor Fatima Ibrahim says nothing prevents the committee from looking into outstanding issues from the complaint.
Of course, nothing prevents the committee from identifying anything further that may have emanated from the affidavit or from Mr. Mabaso's complaint.
Committee chairperson Vota Vessels says they must consider reopening the investigation and look at all relevant documents.
Deal with it in the form of reopening of an investigation. For instance, call the complainant before the committee, call the AG.
Vessels says they will look at their program before scheduling a follow-up meeting to resolve on the way forward. Baba Londenza, Eyewitness News.
Civil organization Not in My Name has welcomed the sentence handed down to former apartheid-era police officer Johan Murray. Yesterday, the Pretoria High Court sentenced Murray to 15 years in prison for the 1987 murder of student activist Caiphus Nyoga. Nyoga was shot and killed by Murray and his colleagues inside his Davidton home in Ekurhuleni. Not in My Name says the sentence marks an important moment in South Africa's ongoing struggle for justice and truth. The organization's president, Siyabulela Gentile.
We hope that Johan Marais will use this time of his stay in prison to reflect on the pain and trauma he has caused in the interest of justice, and in demonstrating true remorse, he must come forward and testify against his co-accused.
And Israel says it believes Iran could potentially retrieve enriched uranium buried beneath one of the 3 facilities struck by U.S. forces last month. Briefing journalists and Israeli officials says if Iran was to reach the uranium, it would prompt renewed Israeli strikes. But Iran denies seeking to develop nuclear weapons and says enrichment of uranium is for peaceful purposes. Gold is trading at $3,345.62 an ounce. The rand's at 17.83 to the dollar, 24.14 to the pound, and 20.85 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $68.64 a barrel.
Good afternoon. In your traffic, we start in Selby, where traffic is sluggish on the M2 West. Now that's from the Crown Interchange until you get to Main Reef Road. You're looking at an extra 5 minutes or so on the roads. In Bryanston, expect some delays on Winnie Mandela Drive between Main Road and Leslie, and in Woodmead, expect queuing traffic on the M1 South headed in the direction of Marlborough Drive.
Clear skies in store for Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of 19 and 20 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the family of late former Deputy President David Mabuza will receive his remains this afternoon ahead of his funeral tomorrow.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Choose the 8 kilometer for those walking strong, the 6.7 kilometer in honor of Mandela Month, or the 4 kilometer for families and first timers in 702's Walk the Talk. Tickets on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja.
Live, streaming countrywide
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
So 1 o'clock, welcome 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. Happy Friday! Yo, you know how we do. other than the weekend loading, we also get to enjoy some food and some music, and we get inspired. So coming up on the show, our food feature, we'll be talking to Santi's Bar and Grill, and we are joined by the owner and chef Joe Meldau, as well as Abigail Moyo, chef at Santi's Bar and Grill. Unplugged on 702 afternoons. Tapelo Esau will be coming through to sing for us, and then we wrap up with the upside of failure in the second hour of the show. Oh, renowned South African fashion designer Gert Johan Kutsia will be here to talk to us. So get in touch with us. Give us a call, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. 702.
Food feature.
Food feature time on 702 afternoons, and today we got such a treat from Santi's Bar and Grill, and we are joined in studio by owner and chef of Santi's Bar and Grill, Joe Meldau, and he's not alone. Chef at Santi's Bar and Grill, Abigail Moyo, joins him. Welcome to the show. How are you doing? Happy Friday.
Thanks, Lebo. Same to you.
Thanks, Lebu.
You're doing well.
Nice to see you.
and you. I'm coming for that beanie, ne, because the merch is looking too nice, and that chopping board. Now, thank you so much. Like, I love coming on air, and I know people think that I finish a whole meal before I go on air. I don't do that. Also, I would not be able to do the show. I have a young taste just to come on air to be able to tell you about it. Then I go home and eat in peace without being bothered by radio headphones and microphones. I get to absolutely enjoy, and I truly, truly did enjoy what we served today. But before we even get into what was on the menu, Joe, talk to us about where your journey with food began. You know, in terms of when you were a younger boy, were you somebody who was always just in the kitchen, or is the love for food something that came much later in your life?
Lebo, to be honest, we grew up my mom was a very busy person. She had 3 jobs. So from time to time when she came home early, she would slap together anything in the house. And she could make anything from anything. And it would always come out so flavorful and so with so much love that that's how I got my love for making food and to give good food to people. And that makes me, there's no better feeling than if you make a plate of food and you give it to somebody to eat and they enjoy it. It's that's the reason why I got into the business, and I've been in it since 1981.
So prior then to 1981, is it something that you literally went straight from school into going into the food business, or did you study other things before then?
I was first in the military, and then from the military I went straight into the food business.
I have to ask, because there are many people of your generation who were in the military. My business partner is one of them. What are some of the things that experience taught you? And everybody, yes, in the military there are lots of jobs. You could have been a chef in the military, you could have been multiple things in the military. But from that whole institution, what are the big lessons you took out of it?
Discipline.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is discipline. And to learn to live with people from all walks of life, with all different ideas and all different mentalities. So you learn to cope with everybody in any circumstance. And that's basically what the food game is. You've got to cope with anybody in any circumstance, because it's all about just-in-time management. You've got to get that meal onto that plate just in time. If you want
and
it fresh,
still hot.
And still hot, yeah.
Were you cooking for the military individuals?
No, funnily enough, I wasn't. But at one stage, the chefs that we had cooking for us did a very bad job. So the sergeant major asked me to go and cook, and I made one meal just for the staff,
yes.
the top brass. And after that, he told me to cook for the rest of the camp, for the rest of the people. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I actually took over the chef's job for like about a month.
You stole that person's job.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. But by default, it's just that he asked me to make something, and I made it so well that he asked me to cook for everybody else.
So now fast forward to you're out of the military. At what point do you start getting exposure to professional kitchens where you're not just thinking about your love of food and all the nice things you want to put in, but you are already thinking about, all right, what are the seasonal ingredients? What are things that need to be on menus? Like, at what point did the business aspect enter your life?
Actually, a lot of people have asked me that over the years. People have come in the restaurants, pat me on the back and say, "Hey, you're so successful and it's so great." But at the time, I would say I was an opportunist. I saw an opportunity and I took it. There were no outdoor coffee bars. People's restaurants used to close at 10 o'clock. Ladies' bars, men and women never used to mix. They used to be in a separate bar.
My goodness.
That's a true story. There was
In
always
South
a lady
Africa?
bar in South Africa.
A
Restaurants
lady
were
bar?
closed. Ladies' bar. Restaurants were closed on a Sunday. So I'm giving away my age here.
Wait,
a little
you
bit, but
have
anyway.
to then tell me that
You're
what was
going to a
different.
hotel or anywhere, and there
Yes.
would be a ladies' cocktail bar. It would be called a cocktail bar, and the ladies would go there, and the men would be in the bar, the normal bar.
Was
And then
anything
later on-
different served between the two
No,
bars?
it wasn't that. It's just that they felt that initially, I don't know why they did it actually, but anyway, the ladies would come afterwards, like a bit later, but they would first go to the cocktail bar, ladies' bar.
We need to, so the ladies got to vent about the men before mingling with them, and
Something
vice
like-
versa.
I think it's something like that, the level, to be honest with you. I think it was something like that. But anyway, I saw an opportunity and I took it. There was an Italian guy that taught me how to make pizza. He couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak Italian. He taught me to make pizza and he taught me to make ice cream. And I started my first place, was called Gelati Arlecchino in Orange Grove. And then changed to Arlecchino. And I had 48 seats. And it just grew and grew and grew. At one stage, we were serving like 1,000, 2,000 people a day on the weekend. People would park 3 kilometers away and walk all the way from Patterson Park all the way to my shop.
What was the key cuisine that you specialized in when you started out?
Italian.
So it was always Italian.
Always Italian. I had even the Santi's Bar and Grill was called Dei Santi's Trattoria, which was an Italian restaurant. And we changed it over the years because as the area got more and more popular, the landlord required more and more space from me. So I had to make it smaller and smaller until we ended up just with the grill part and the bar. So now we used to see like 300 to 500 people. Now we only see 100 people. Our tables are for 100 people. We see a lot more people than that. We're lucky. We're fortunate. People come.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to find out about Abigail's journey in food and find out more as well about Santi's Bar and Grill.
Time for a performance review of my FNB Gold business account. Giving my business up to 30% back in e-bucks at Pick and Pay. No other card does this. It's real money back on expenses. I can even use e-bucks to buy supplies from Take-A-Lot. I must give you a corner office, but you're a bank card.
The FNB Gold business account. No other card works harder for your business because saving you costs is worth it. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and earn rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider.
Get ready to feel your stride with a delicious cup of Milo at 7:02 Walk the Talk, packed with 6 vitamins and 3 minerals to help power your walk from start to finish. Swing by the Milo van for a tasty boost and experience the same energy that fuels South Africa's future champs every day. Milo, energy to go further.
Checkers XXL Savings is on with the XXL Jackpot competition. New week, new deals, new jackpot. This week, save on Lancewood cheddar or Gouda cheese 900 grams for $139.99. And buy any 3 Ariel liquid detergent 2 or 3 liters or capsules $14, $21 or $30 per pack and get the cheapest free. Remember, buy any 3 participating products and get a scratch card to enter. Deals valid until Sunday at Checkers.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our new Boksburg showroom, Shop A1, Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg. or go to sweetor.com today. Sweetor, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
Hey besties, welcome to my kitchen tour, or should I say my new walk-in wardrobe. Over here we have the pantry, now home to my jeans and shirts, all color-coded. Oh, and the air fryer, literally the perfect place for my makeup brushes. And who would have thought, the oven is the place to store my handbags.
Who needs a kitchen? Simply spend 200 Rand or more and you could win Simply Asia for a year. T's and C's apply. Simply Asia, connecting the Thai way.
702 was in conversation with Momentum on The Money Show with Stephen Grootes, discussing why context matters in financial advice.
So why is context in terms of financial advice so important?
Everyone's financial journey is personal. Each person's circumstances, their needs, their dreams and goals are different than any other person. And for Momentum, financial advice is really the center of our universe. And we believe that accredited financial advisors really help clients identify and quantify their needs. They do that through helping clients build a budget, they make informed decisions, and they plan for various financial goals, short, medium, and long term. At Momentum, we offer all these options. We believe in financial advice, and we believe that financial advisors help people invest their savings wisely and achieve their goals. We also have other things like guaranteed investments over a certain period, and also things like unit trusts and annuities. That's all, things that advisors use in the financial planning process.
Visit momentum.co.za for more info. Momentum, your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
702.
Food feature.
18 minutes after 1 o'clock, and our food feature for today, we're talking to Santi's Bar and Grill, and we're joined by owner and chef Joe Meldau, as well as Abigail Moyo, who is also a chef there. We take your calls with your questions on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Now, Abigail, where did your love of food begin?
Hello, my name is Abigail. I'm chef from Santi's Bar and Grill. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Yes, I'm going with my boss Joe today. I started to work at Santi's 2009. I work as a scullery. From there, I will go to Stay Blues Country Pub, and then I come back. Then I learned everything. Now I know how to make a burger patty from scratch. It's our homemade 150 gram. I know how to put everything, ingredients. Then got a ram steak. I know how to cook medium rare ram steak. How can take how long minutes. Then got nice chips, the fresh one. Then I know how to cook seafood pasta. Yes, I learned everything now.
And what kind of food do you enjoy as Abigail?
Like Joe's special pizza. Yes. And then the second one, our home burger, Joe's burger, with chips, with cheese sauce.
Joe, just in terms of, you've been in this food business for a long time, and it's not easy to have people that will be with you for as long as what Abigail is sharing from 2009. What would you share with other business owners is the secret for retaining great staff, but also finding a way to continuously challenge and upskill them?
When one of my nephews was doing a project for school, we had to follow somebody around, and he followed me around. And then he wrote his project, and his project started like this. My uncle's not in the restaurant business, he's in the people business.
Oh, wow.
And he proceeded to say that every person in my business is important. That's what it's all about. You are nothing if you don't have a good team around you. And you have to keep nurturing that team, and that team has to grow. We have a Monday morning meetings where we discuss different recipes or different things concerning the business, but we also discuss some life skills as well. How to save your money, how to spend it, what you look out for, what's going on in the country, numerous things. And with that, I think, and the flexibility that we've got in our business. So we train everybody. Everybody gets promoted in-house, and we train everybody in-house to do everybody's job. So through tough times, through COVID and that jazz, everybody could do everybody's job. And so I think that's what it's about. The other thing, of course, the downside of mentoring people, which is what we do all the time, is eventually they get good enough that they either get headhunted or they go on their own. And I'm fortunate enough to say that that's happened quite a lot of times to me.
I'm so glad you see that as such a positive, because I think it is a blessing when you're not kicking your chicks out of the nest. They are saying it's time to fly, and you actually see them fly because it is so reflective of you as a leader.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Look, quite a few of my staff have a side hustle because in this economy nowadays it's very tough.
No one survives Cyril's economy without a side hustle.
Exactly. So they got a side hustle and they learn. And as I said, it's all about a team. Without the team, we've got nothing. And I think that's what it is. I'm fortunate enough to have a strong team around me, and that's why we've been there so long. We've been there since 1997. Talk about longevity.
I was
1997.
in primary school then, in Standard 4, it was called at the time. Yo. In terms of, I mean, when we were chatting earlier and you were talking me through me tasting all the food, you touched on the fact that you have, excuse me, actually helped some of the restaurants develop their menus.
Yeah, over the years, different guys have come and gone. They've asked my advice on this and that. And one of the well-known restaurants, I sat down on a serviette and I wrote out his first menu. And he's actually done very well. He's got quite a few stores nowadays.
And quite a few is quite a lot.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of them. But over the years, a lot of my staff in that jazz have gone in to do their own thing in that jazz. And it's worked out well for them.
What are some of the things one needs to think about when developing a menu? Because let's say a lebo like myself, a Relebogile, decides, I don't want to start a restaurant. The easiest thing to do is to think about what I like, right? Because for many people, that's what inspires you wanting to start something. I doubt there are many people who want to start a restaurant with a cuisine that they can't stand. But we all know that that's not always what sells. Like, your personal tastes are not what sells. And I've spoken to many a chef and a business owner who has said to me, I was so sad when this one fell off the menu because I loved it, but it didn't do well with other people. What are some of those tips you can share when it comes to menu development in particular?
Well, I'll give you an example. A few years ago, a prawn cocktail was very popular. Irish coffees were very popular. There's certain things, so they come and they go. I, being a traditionalist that I am, first of all, I'll give you large portions. Secondly,
that's how it's supposed to be.
Yes,
we're in Africa. We do large portions.
So you get a proper portion. We're not shy. We give you a proper portion, and I tend to stick to. I would say my food is rustic. I'm not this new fusion stuff. I don't cut my carrots into little blocks, whatever. But the biggest ingredient.
Sorry to laugh, but I see you very much as like that traditionalist, the type of thing that you could serve to a nonna and she would still appreciate it and not be confused.
Exactly, but the key to all of that is flavor. And that's what keeps the people coming back. So sometimes I have to take certain items off the menu and I'll replace them with something else. But you're right, I'll give you an example. I'm not a vegetarian, I'm not a vegan. But there is a portion of people out there that are vegans and vegetarians. And so you have to have certain items on your menu to cater for those people. I am a bar and a grill. There's not too many young children that come to my place, but you still have to have something for them. So you have to have something for everybody.
Yeah.
But you must make sure that you make it good and you make it with that flavor, because that's what keeps people coming back.
When you spoke about COVID and how, because I think it's brilliant of having team members that are multi-skilled, that you are able to, put on an apron, go at the back. You are able to help out with serving if the business gets a bit overwhelmed. What was for you the most difficult part of the coming out of COVID? Because when it was bad, and we all kind of knew it's bad, and we all lived with that uncertainty of we don't know how bad it is for how long rather. But at some point things started opening up. What was the difficult part of that season? The ones where things are getting going again?
Well, we had a bit of bad luck during COVID. As COVID started, you had to be closed by 7 o'clock. So we did get a permit to sell food, frozen food and that jazz. And our kitchen set the light at 8 o'clock. So we closed at 7. Anyway, it took us 3 months. We were doing about 100 meals a day takeaway. And it took us 3 months to rebuild the kitchen, and then we got back to that again. What I found coming out of COVID is that the people continued ordering. So Mr. D and Uber and Bolt and those guys, they continued ordering. So a lot of people will eat at home. And they stay there, especially now in the winter and that jazz. But you talk about people multitasking. Abigail's a chef, but she also works in the front as a waiter, 2-3 times a week. So she knows the pressure that the waitrons are under. So when she's back in the kitchen, she understands. And then the waitrons understand the pressure in the kitchen when she's back on the floor. So that's the kind of thing that we do. We cross-populate.
On the WhatsApp line, somebody is commenting on what we're discussing about the ladies and men's bar. The ladies' bar was a more posh. Normally entrances were via the reception. The cowboy bar was a more casual setup with the entrance off the road. Okay. And then another one says, the ladies went to go powder their noses before going to the ladies. If you know, you know what is being said. If you know, you know. We've got a voice note on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Relebogile. Yo, I don't know where to start. I actually know Abigail. I haven't quite yet met the owner of Santis Bar and Grill as yet, but I work around the area and it's one of the coolest spots to chill. When you're tired after work, you need a drink before hitting home and a meal, you stop there and you sort it. Thanks for a good show. Godfrey from Centurion.
Oh, Abigail, you are famous. Huh? Abigail, how does it feel to hear such a lovely message about you?
It's nice. I feel happy now.
I am so happy for you. Joe, your menu, I mean, guys, the burger patty, I think in some senses there is a lost art in the patty. Just not the simplicity of it, but the layers of flavoring. And if it looks like, this thing, I'm telling you, it is so good. And the piece of steak that I had, chef's kiss, delicious. I don't know what you are putting in that pizza dough that makes that crust absolutely delicious. Sorry to my team because I just ate the crust while they went and ate the inside. And of course, really, really delicious food. Such a vibe. And just, I'm so excited for where the business can grow because you have longevity and you can find them Santi's Bar and Grill all over social media and Facebook. Why should people come, Joe?
They must come